Happy Halloween and welcome back to Edgier Than Thou. I certainly hope your holiday was as uneventful as mine, because I have to imagine you need to be a bit bored to care about how much money pop stars are making right now. This video, Taylor Swift Hits a New Milestone by Michael Knowles, jumped out at me because from the moment I saw the title, I knew it was going to be about one of two things. Either how Taylor Swift's extreme popularity is a sign of the West's downfall, or how it's actually a sign that conservatives are winning somehow. So let's talk about it. These two ideas are diametrically opposed. There's no doubt about that. But from a conservative, I can conceive of either of them. Candace Owens or Matt Walsh, some of Knowles' co-workers, would probably take the former position, having gone on record numerous times to explain their distaste for the musician. But I know Michael Knowles. We get tea together every Friday and talk about life, God, and how his virulent hatred of queer people is a manifestation of his shameful desire to trans every kid. He's a really interesting guy once you get to know him. Mike Knowles is something of a conservative contrarian. While the rest of the Daily Wire hosts were foaming at the mouth about how the Barbie movie was subversive, man-hating garbage, Knowles went against the grain, producing a strong conservative read of the film and stating outright that he believed Greta Gerwig to be intentionally delivering conservative messaging. Thus, I reasonably presumed that this video was going to be about the latter position. The idea that Taylor Swift's success is an indication that conservative social ideals are taking or have taken hold in our culture. Of course, I didn't need to waffle on about all this in my head, because if I just read the thumbnail, I could have skipped the whole charade. Yes. Michael Knowles is of the opinion that in some sense, Taylor Swift's new milestone is a good sign for our culture. And I'll let him take it away from here.
Taylor Swift is now a billionaire. She's become a billionaire because of that concert tour that she went on last year, the Eras Tour. Other than on this show, when my producers have made me do it, I don't think I've ever consciously listened to a Taylor Swift song. And yet, when she launched her tour, and I came into the office, all the girls in this office were on their computers. I didn't get it. I think the reason that Taylor Swift is singularly successful, probably the most powerful woman on earth right now, is because she's basically normal, totally inoffensive. She doesn't have a ton of tattoos. She doesn't have crazy hair. She doesn't have a million weird piercings. She doesn't go screech and scream. If she has political views, they're relatively mildly stated. She's just normal and nice and pleasant. For much of our nation's history, that would have made Taylor Swift totally unexceptional. No one would know her name. But at this moment, which is so divorced from reality, just a little bit of normal is refreshing and desired. And if you are that normal person, you can make $1 billion, apparently.
On a surface level, what he's saying here makes sense, right? The reason this celebrity is so deeply ubiquitous in pop culture right now probably does have something to do with the fact that she's relatively inoffensive. Taylor Swift as a public persona is relatable. She sings about struggles with romantic relationships and ever-relevant self-esteem issues. Her lack of wacky hair and piercings don't preclude her from being popular with the people who have these things, but it does likely allow her broader appeal to those who prefer less nonconformist ways of dressing. There's a sense that, like many other celebrities, she's the everyman. People who want to see themselves in her can do so with relative ease. Still, this can't really be an indication of why she's so famous, right? Why she's made $1 billion being a singer? No. She also constantly enjoys positive press. When she has public beefs, the people placed opposite her are almost universally unlikable weirdos, the kind of people that look so bad it's impossible to come out of the situation unsympathetic to her point of view. She's been making music long enough that fans of hers are now old enough to be nostalgic about her previous work, and she capitalizes on that nostalgia. Her decision to re-record albums on such a large scale in order to maintain the rights to her music is potentially industry-changing. Knowles' claim that her political opinions are kept on the down low, which is true to some extent. As of the recording of this video, she still hasn't commented on Israeli propaganda using her to further their cause for ethnic cleansing. But she has vocally expressed support for Joe Biden. She supports abortion. She made a song about gay rights. She updates her lyrics to make them more feminist and less homophobic. She pushed tens of thousands of her fans to register to vote, and the idea that these people are going to be going to the polls to vote against gay marriage, trans rights, abortion, BLM, all the things that Michael Knowles opposes, is laughable. When she openly supported Joe Biden in 2020, The Guardian placed the quote, "She just ended her career," in the headline. Donald Trump said that he likes her music 25% less. This incredibly apolitical political view of Taylor Swift's brand would have made sense in 2019 or earlier, a time when you were more likely to know about Tadoff Swiftler than you were to know what she thought about Black Lives Matter. But notably, she was less popular in 2019. Her tour the prior year grossed $345 million. Her ongoing tour, as we've already stated, just crossed $1 billion, and it's still going. I believe Michael when he implies he doesn't know any of this. But that raises an interesting question. Why is he saying any of this in the first place? Why is he trying to link Taylor Swift's success to her perceived normalcy? I think the answer to this question is fairly obvious. See, in Michael Knowles' worldview, people who break previously established molds, get piercings, dye their hair bright colors, get gay married, transition, support BLM, are symptoms and representatives of cultural degeneracy. If a heavily tattooed artist were as popular as Taylor Swift, it'd be an indication that the West is falling to left-wing impulses and social libertarianism. By earning more money than virtually anyone, including other celebrities, will ever see in their entire lifetime on a single performance tour, Taylor Swift has, for the moment, cemented herself as a massive cultural force, far beyond anything Michael Knowles or his pals could aspire to. Thus, he is left with two options. Either he interprets her success, her support of LGBTQ people, her support for Roe v. Wade, as a sign that the left has, at least for now, won. They've won the hearts and minds of millions of people across the globe, and Michael is fighting a losing battle. Or he can ignore all that. Look at an attractive white woman who's a pretty good singer and a cultural icon and interpret her position as a sign that people crave a return to tradition, to a world without tattoos, piercings, trans kids, gay marriage. In the music video for her song You Need to Calm Down, a video filled with drag queens and queer imagery, Taylor Swift portrays what people in Michael Knowles' political camp look like. They're crass, boorish, accurate representations of the ideas that Michael Knowles tries to dress up in a three-piece suit. The video is her 17th most popular on YouTube. It has 322 million views, 4.6 million likes, significantly more than her other videos with similar view counts. To me, this sends a very clear message. Michael is correct. Taylor Swift is normal. It's the people disgusted with open queerness, racial justice, reproductive freedom, who are abnormal, who must spend millions of fossil fuel dollars to remain relevant and avoid being left in the dustbin of history. Earlier this June, Michael Knowles said on camera that he wouldn't be satisfied with a return to 2012-era social conservatism, that even the 1950s would be too liberal for his tastes.
But if 2012 is the end point, then we might as well pack it in, guys. I do not want America to be as socially conservative as it was in 2012. I want our civilization to be as socially conservative as we were in 1220, okay? Forget it. I don't even want the 1950s. I don't even want the 1880s. I want 1220. I think that would be a good spot to land at.
Well, it's nice to hear explicit confirmation of this belief. It's also worthwhile to remember that his dream will never be a reality. He is forced instead to celebrate the success of a pop star who finds everything about him and his movement repulsive. The things she represents reflect what we as a society are willing to support and tolerate, and within that sphere, there simply exists no space for Knowles. I don't like wealth inequality. I think it's a stain on our system that it exists to the extent it does, and the knowledge that in some way that inequality has increased as a result of this tour is frustrating. Still, making this much money via performance art is among the least exploitative ways of doing it, and it is indeed a lovely sign that these types of performing artists are the ones succeeding. The politics an artist like Taylor Swift represents are not always aligned with my own. I probably hold more extreme views on a variety of topics than she or her team do, but I nonetheless celebrate the fact that this is and will continue to be the direction we are traveling in. That even as conservatism continues to dump huge amounts of money to spread its propaganda, they have to ignore inconvenient facts in order to pretend that they're winning. Anyhow, thanks for watching to the end. I don't have any crazy outro for this one. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like, subscribe, all that business. I really appreciate all of those things, and I will hopefully see you in the next one.